Poor Sussex. Kate and William's new royal plan to ditch Meghan and Harry. Their sensational departure from the royal family left the monarchy reeling. Now Kate's new plan has been revealed. Never work with animals or children, or such is the Hollywood legend. Obviously, this is not an adage that applies to royal life, where throughout her HRH career, Kate, Duchess of Cambridge, has spent an insignificant amount of time sitting on the heels of a game. Talk to shy preschoolers, hold bouquets of flowers, and so far have had a tussle with lambs, elephant, goat, rhinoceros, alpaca, and at least one snake. Overnight, she added a tarantula to that list after asking to keep the furry eight-legged creature while she and her husband, Prince William, were studying at Ulster University. Meanwhile, he says it's cool and George is obsessed with snakes. He'll be sad to miss this. Don't worry, George, you've got decades to deal with all creatures, big and small, for cameras to come. The royal couple also practiced their soccer skills, watching Gaelic games, and resisted the urge to dance when greeted by students playing traditional musical instruments. The Cambridges arrive in Northern Ireland just over 15 hours after hitting up the red carpet at the premiere of the latest installment of the Bond franchise. With the Duchess debuting the most dramatic and amazing look of her royal career, it's a portrait in dazzling confidence and the movie equivalent of Hear Me Roar. If anyone is working under any assumption that Kate could easily return to work after an unusual, unexplained 69-day break from her royal duties during the Northern summer, this week was paid for by that. Instead, the lesson from this week's outings is clear. The Cambridges are coming. Looking back, Harry and Meghan's earlier goal was to live a life of luxury with someone else paying the bills. When they found out that they had to do actual hard work and represent other people, they could not handle the reality. Meghan, as an actress, should have realized the time in front of the cameras is minuscule compared to the work that leads up to that time. Stage actors realize that they spend months in rehearsals and 2 hours in front of an audience. If they go wrong, there is no cut or shot another take. It is life, and the one take is all you get. It could be that Meghan had overdosed on Disney princess fantasies and believed them to be true. So she had a rude awakening when she found out that although she was married to a prince, she was not a princess, but had little gained the title of Duchess. Her earlier statements that she would reform the monarchy fell flat when she realized that what she wanted to do had already been put into place. There's a strict line of succession, and she was not on the main branch, just a cadet branch that was getting even further away from the main line. If rumors are to be believed, she tried to make a play for William, which was rejected. And if you've seen the photos of Catherine at the Bond premiere and compare them to Meghan in New York, you can understand why. Having failed to make a mark on the monarchy and failed to gain the first rank, she fled, dragging helpless Harry behind her. They reformulated their plans and were blocked from being part-time royals, i.e. going to selected public events for the jolly, but being allowed to skip the boring bits that need to be done but do not gain recognition. So they list the freebies. They list the money that goes with the freebies. To top that, the money from the Bank of Dad dried right up, and they were stopped from commercializing the royal brand. Every money-making idea they had was blocked, so they carried out their threat of exposing all in the Oprah chat, which did not go well as people actually checked up on what they said, and their truth was found to differ from reality and events recorded at the time. And they tried to rewrite it to fit their narrative. The 2-hour televised extravaganza was rebutted in a 62-word reply, which has been resonated in several countries. They've tried the copycat approach, which is found out, and they've tried using flattery and also demanding attention. They failed that in the U.S. as well, having stated they never want to return to the U.K. They now demand high security when they visit, otherwise they will not return. It is true they've tried many things and they've not been all successful as they believed they would be. And many of all of them appear to be trying to set up an equivalent royal presence based in the USA. I believe this is going to be another activity where they misread the mood of the American nation. When they have the spotlight, they give out a caring message, but on the way to that message, they go against the ideals they support. It is too easily found out, which leaves people believing they're hypocrites, which bounce back on their public image and their bank ability, for their contracts, of course. The heir to the throne is also facing increasing hostility from the same couple. The next in line is a brother to the prince who is fomenting hostility. The premise is that this all has the hallmarks of a power play to change the dynasty. Considered in this light, 3 is a pattern, and that's emerging a prince leaving his country, setting up in a foreign one, but a friendly nation, and stirring up populists to support him against the established rulers, trying to establish an alternative court to take control at an opportune movement. Being realistic, the Queen may survive 10 more years. Prince Charles will be in his 80s, so he could expect a reign of 20 years or more, which would mean that Prince William comes into power in his 70s. Prince Harry would be in his mid to late 60s, and he could have had nearly 30 years to fester and plot for power. Sounds very melodramatic, but there are precedents in history. If Meghan has her eyes on politics in the USA, she may have blinded them with her admission of mental health issues, so that route may be more difficult for her now. But if she remains married to Harry, the king game could be to try politics in America, where if she becomes president, she believes she would be equal to the current monarch in the UK. If that fails, then a usurpation of the line of succession would pay back the royal family for all of her imagined slights. Meanwhile, with the UK reopening for business, all signs are that the Duke and Duchess are stepping up their goodwill efforts as the royal tries to bring chaotic and damaging events to the table. This year's deaths are behind and at the same time prepare when the clock ticks down once, a change of nearly a century at its peak. 2021 starts off amazingly for the House of Windsor with Harry and Meghan, the Duke and Duchess of Hypocrisy, launching an unprecedented fight against the company in their Oprah interview. Harsh global scrutiny suddenly pops up the palace, which suddenly accused of institutional crimes, callous disregard for mental health, and malignant indifference to suffering. While Britons generally sympathize with the royal family, the Windsors suddenly have a star and stripe themed target on their backs and some serious reputational damage to try and fix. The poll carried out on the minority of Brits this week after the Sussex's Oprah poured the capital found that a majority of voters said they believe that the royal family are terrible. On the question of whether the UK should continue to have a monarchy in the future, 63% agreed, while 25% they wanted an elected head of state, and Harry and Meghan have been treated unfairly by the royal family, according to almost half, 45% of respondents. There are also worrying developments going on British soil. In 2019, 66 of 18 to 24-year-olds think the UK should continue to have a monarchy. That number has dropped to 50% in 2020, and as of the beginning of this year, 46%, about 19% off in just 2 years. The sudden decline in support for the next generation will have nervous courtiers eating their way through the Duchy of Cornwall's shortbread packs. While the Duke and Duchess are clearly swarming their personal affairs on climate change, mental health, and early development, the bigger picture is where the royal family is at amid a campaign of readiness to try and defend the front of the crown from turmoil in the years to come. Like a historic home in an earthquake zone for Buckingham Palace, the question is when and not if it will be shaken to its foundations when the crown is handed back to Charles. With Harry and Meghan long gone to live a fake Hollywood life from Ellen, the responsibility of strengthening the monarchy in the face of this period of seismic change now rests solely with William and Kate. Whether the crown appears intact or not depends quite a bit on the Cambridges, and only they, like campaign politicians, the royal family must be acutely aware of which segments of Britain fully support them: retired colonels, Tatler readers, box collectors, sandwiches, and those with more mixed options about this entire hereditary monarchy ranking, meaning a younger and racially diverse audience. For this context, the Cambridge's sunny, smiley outing should be read not because they insist on going back to the 9-to-5 mark, but as a part of this project to at least try to both patch up their image, Megxit, and for the future throne's proof. That's how we got to the future queen in less than 24 hours, going from Oscar-worthy halo to showing off her best dribbles to holding a tarantula, all at once part of a hard week's work.